sure in Zimbabwe, in the new dispensation, they were talking about money laundering. Money laundering. I don't know if you are following. 2018, I'm talking about the political side. We're talking about externalizing of finance stuff. Have you ever heard about that? There are some companies that we are going to shame, but they were externalizing some US dollar finance stuff. Have you ever heard about that?
Yes.
In Zimbabwe, I'm referring to Zimbabwe. A new dispensation. Or else we are just ignoring it.
No, we had it.
That's good. So simply they were talking about money laundering. There was some illegal. They were simply referring to that these firms they were doing some illegal. They were talking about illegal what? Dealings, isn't it? Illegal dealings. So you as an auditor, you must know how man is being laundered. How man is what?
Hello, sir. I don't know if this has started yet. I'm getting quite bad feedback.
Oh, what's going on? You're very bad feedback. What's going on? So far, there's no noise in this institution. Okay, it's fine. So you must know, you as a professional accountant, as an auditor, you must know how man is laundered. Laundry. Can someone tell me just the word laundry? What does that word mean? Laundry.
Make something clean.
That's good. So why I'm asking this fun question? It sounds like fun, but people they get lost from the word go. What money laundering? What is it all? Laundering, which means, in other words, you're trying to make something which is dead to be clean, isn't it? You're trying to make something clean, isn't it? So that's what they say, money laundering. And can you please speak up, say, and can you hear us? What are you saying? Hello? What about others?
I can hear you clearly. Maybe try to log off and log on again. Might be the network.
I know. For those who are not hearing me clearly, log in, then you join again. Because here my network is perfect. Not even a bar. There's not even a problem with network here in my side. So perfect and wonderful. So perfect and what? And wonderful. Try to exit the group, then try to join again. Check your network strength. Please. Now there's someone else. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, what's going on with your network? Check your network strength.
Now I can hear you.
That's fine. So the issue is, I'm sure the network at your side. It's a matter of network strength at your side. Yes, so perfect and wonderful.
But I have all the bars. But now I can hear you. Thank you.
Fine. Because others are saying they're hearing me clearly. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Okay, so today we're going to cover about money laundering and quality controls, isn't it? Money laundering and what? Quality control. So let us start by defining money laundering. So I'm saying a professional accountant, you as a professional accountant, you as an auditor, you must know how money is laundered. How money is what? How money is laundered. Remember that we're dealing with the clients, we're auditing some companies. So there's a risk of auditing a client, or there's a risk of dealing with a client that is involved in a debt activities. Are you following on what I'm saying? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, there's the risk of what? Dealing with what? Clients that are involved into debt activities. So you must be aware of how money is laundered and what are the stages of money laundering. So that when you're assessing compliance risks, you have to consider that. When you're assessing what? Compliance risks, you have to assess that. When you're assessing compliance risks at a client, you should consider that. You as an auditor. So money laundering is the process by which criminals, money laundering is the process by which criminals attempt to conceal. Money laundering is the process by which criminals attempt to conceal the true origin. Attempt to conceal the true origin and ownership of the proceeds. The true origin and ownership of the proceeds of their criminal activity. Of their criminal activity. Yes. They're trying to consider the true origin what? And ownership of what? Of the process of their criminal activities. So that, in other words, they're trying to legitimize their debt money. They're trying by only to legitimize their debt money. They're trying to legitimize the debt source of their income. That's what we are trying to say. I'm trying to say. That's good. So you must know your responsibility, you as an auditor. So this definition is clearly explained in the Aga Code of Ethics and Conduct. Is there? All together? I'm saying you as a professional accountant, you as an auditor, you must know how money is laundered. Why? During, especially when you're during your no, carrying out, you have to carry out a due diligence. You must know your clients. These are some of the things that you have to look at. Is there any indication that this company is no, their source of income, are they clean? These are some of the things when carrying out when assessing the risks and the client. Are you following on what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's good. So in exam, you'll be given a scenario. Make sure that you are able to identify the stages. There are only three stages in laundering money. In laundering what? Money. So in exam, they do not ask you to define, identify, define no, three stages in money laundering. You're going to apply. So this one is a good example of placement. This one is a good example of layering. This is a good example of integration. You'll be given a scenario. You are going to duty you as a professional accountant to identify activities, illegal activities, and clearly tell us those activities they represent which stage of money laundering. Are you following on what I'm saying? And discuss about those things. Why are you saying it's placement? This one activity represents placement. It's a good example of placement. Stage in money laundering. This is a good example of clearing stage in money laundering. This is a good example of integration. Nowadays it's about application. So there are 3 stages in laundering money. Same right. There are 3 stages in laundering money. Like what I've said. What are they? Number 1, placement. Number 1 is what?
Placement.
Yes, placement. What does the word placement mean? What does the word placement mean?
I think this is the time when the criminals try to put the funds they earned through criminal activity into a legitimate business.
Into a financial system, isn't it?
Mm.
So placement is the introduction or placement of illegal funds into a financial system. Simple definition. Isn't it? Is the introduction or placement of illegal funds into a financial system. Example. Let us give good example. Example. Yeah. Okay. Using a cash-intensive business, isn't it? Can someone give me an example of a cash-intensive business? Lotto shops, isn't it? Soccer betting shops. Are we together? Using a cash-intensive business like lotto shops, soccer betting shops, etc. Probably to disguise debt or debt money as legitimate revenue, isn't it? You can use those businesses to disguise your debt money, illicit money, as legitimate revenue. To disguise illicit money as legitimate revenue. Are you following what I'm saying? Hello? Sometimes it's indication. Please, in exam, make sure that you're able to identify these. Are we together, guys? Hello?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Another example of placement or the way criminals can introduce illicit money or debt money to the financial system, they can introduce it by making lots of small cash deposits. By making what? Lots of small cash deposits into numerous bank accounts. It's not the way criminals can introduce debt money, illicit money, into the financial system. They can make lots of small cash deposits into numerous bank accounts. TC. That's what you call placement. That's first stage of money laundering. The another stage is number 2, layering. It's what? Layering. So when we talk about layering, is where the money is passed through a large number of transactions. Is where what? The money is passed through a large number of transactions. Is where the money is passed through a large number of transactions, so that it will be difficult to trace the money to its original source. So that it will be difficult to trace the money to its original source. That's what we call layering. Layering. That's what we call layering. Example, let us give you practical examples. For example, transferring the money through or through several different national jurisdictions, transferring the money through several national or several different national jurisdictions. You've transferred your money from Zimbabwe to South African bank, South African Zimbabwe bank to Asia, probably to China, Dubai. You're trying to conceal the origin source of the money so that it will be difficult to trace back to its original source. Are you following on what I'm saying? If generally within the national jurisdiction, you can transfer your money through multiple bank accounts from CBZ to Stanbic, from Stanbic, Standard Bank, all those kind of things. It's an indication that this man, there's some criminal activities, or this person is trying to legitimize the income from illicit dealings. Hello? Even making my fake sales between controlled companies, subsidiaries, parent company subsidiaries. It's an example of layering. Right? Last stage in money laundering is integration. Integration is the final stage now. Integration. So integration is where the debt man becomes clean. Is where what? The debt man becomes clean as it passes back into a legitimate economy. Is where the debt man becomes clean as it passes back into a legitimate economy. That's good. Giving you a practical example of integration. What are the practical example of integration? What are they? Hello? Hello, guys. Let us participate. Hello, guys. Hello. Yes. Are we still together? There's someone who's speaking, but it's so faint. Are you following? Yes. Let us participate. If I'm asking a question, I need you guys to participate. Isn't it? That's part of learning. You have to participate. You have to participate. You have to participate. So when I talk about integration now, now the debt man is now clean. Now is where the criminals now they start to invest back into the economy. They're trying to what? To invest back into the economy. They start to purchase properties, the properties into the economy. They now you have legal dealings because now the money is laundered. It's now clean. Any question on that?
Nothing for me.
Yes, use it. The launderer probably might choose to invest the funds into real estate, luxury assets, or business ventures. Why? Because now the debt man is now clean. The debt man is now laundered, isn't it? Integration. That's good. That's good. So, um, which means we should come up. The Kanban should come out with what we call an anti-money laundering program. Anti-money laundering what? Program. So a firm must establish an anti-money laundering program. What is the purpose of establishing a money laundering anti-money laundering program? Can someone? tell me, what is the purpose of establishing an anti-money laundering program?
To
Hello?
identify. Hello.
Anti-money laundering program, what's the purpose? In short, we're trying to reduce the dealings within the company, is it? So that we can report, so that we can try to minimize those debt activities, isn't it, in the company? Because everybody within the company have got a duty to report uh, illegal. Yes, you are legally required to report and authorities. So in exam, they may ask you how best you should. Asking you to tell, to discuss. They're simply requiring us to discuss the anti-money laundering. So it seems like someone is. So it's a responsibility as an accountant. It's a responsibility. So let us discuss about the elements of a money laundering program. Elements of anti-money laundering program. You must know these elements. You must know these elements. So, elements of a anti-money laundering program are: we should appoint a money laundering officer. We should appoint what? Money laundering reporting officer. We should appoint a money laundering reporting officer. Who should have suitable level of seniority and experience. Who should have what? A suitable level of seniority and experience. Who should have a suitable level of seniority and experience. So, which means individuals within the firm, they should make their internal reports to this person. Individuals within the firm, they should make their internal reports to this person, to money laundering reporting officer. Individuals within the firm, they should report their internal reports. They should report to this person. Are we together? Hello? We are discussing about the elements of money laundering program.
We're here.
Are we together? Yes. Another element is that the individuals within the firm, they should be trained so that they become aware of the relevant legislation, so that they may become aware of how to deal with the potential money laundering, how to report the suspicion, the money laundering officer, how to identify even the clients. So the individuals within the firm, they should be trained. They should be trained so that they'll be aware of relevant legislation. Because remember, malicious allegations is a criminal offense. If you make a false, a report, you are liable for that. So care must be taken. That's why we're saying you have to train the individual within the firm so that they will be aware of relevant legislation. What the legislation says. If we want to report certain illegal activities, what are the steps that you have to follow? What are the procedures? And how to report suspicion to the money laundering reporting officer? What are the forms? that you have to fill first. And what are the elements of those forms? Are you following what I'm saying? Hello?
Yes.
That's good. Again, you should know about again the individual. They must know the internal reporting lines. Of course, the role of, they must know again by training. They must know the role of the money laundering reporting officer. They should know gathering the know your client, customer due diligence, information. They must be know if you want to know how to identify the client. They must be trained about that. How to identify a client, customer due diligence. Information is very important. Customer due diligence. Know your clients. How to identify a client. To make sure that the clients are who they claim to be, isn't it? When we talk about the customer due diligence. Customer due diligence, you're saying what? You're trying to identify, you're trying to establish that the new clients are who they claim to be. It's part of elements of an anti-money laundering program. And again, the other thing which is very important, you should maintain records of client identification, from client identification, even other transactions undertaken for the client or with the client. There are certain transactions that you feel like there's some suspicions. Please, you have to document all those things. Proper documentation is required. That's what I'm saying, maintaining records of client identification, your customer due diligence that you've created. All those records, they must be maintained, they must be properly documented. Whatever transaction with the client, they must be properly documented. That's good. So again, people, they must know if they want to report suspicions of money laundering to the national crime agents, they must know the standard forms, the standard disclosure forms. What are the elements of those standard disclosure forms? So these are some of the things. All these things, if you're asked in exam, make sure that you're able to apply the elements of money laundering program. Make sure that you're able to relate what is in the scenario with those 3 stages of money laundering. It might be simple when you are teaching, when you're telling you, but make sure that you're able to apply that knowledge. So customer due diligence, you must know who is the client and what their sources of funds. What is the client's business? Who controls it? These are some of the questions that you have to gather, that you are eager to know. So customer due diligence, don't forget that it must be carried out from new to existing clients, both to new clients, even to existing clients. Am I loud and clear on that? Hello? Hello? That's fine. It's fine. Thank you for that. Notes is something else. What is very important, are you able to apply the knowledge that you have acquired? Are you able to apply what you've learned? So all in all, you must know that you as an accountant, failure to report offenses, and failure to report it's an offense. It's what? It's an offense. It's an offense. You must be aware of that. Yes, it's an offense. That's good. So, can someone tell us that what, again, I've mentioned that. What are the responsibility of the auditor? Uh, when it comes to fraud and error, let me say fraud and error. What are the responsibility of the auditor? Where there's suspicion of fraud and error. Okay. Okay. So you know what the order you as an order no, you you cannot be held responsible for preventing non-compliance, isn't it? So if there's suspicion of fraud, you must know what are the procedures that's supposed to be followed. If there's suspicions of money laundering activities, let me say money laundering, yes, let me say money laundering activities, yes, you have to report to the money laundering reporting officer, isn't it? That's good. If there's suspicion of money laundering activities, you have to report to the money laundering officer. Then the money laundering officer is the one who decides whether to report to the National Crime Agents or not. Not you, not the individuals within the firm. That's why I have mentioned that the money laundering reporting officer must be someone who have relevant experience, who's mature, seniority, because any malicious allegations, you'll be liable for that. That's good. That's good. Right. That's good. So that's all about money laundering. 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 The main issue is about, are you able to apply all these? Are you able to apply? That's where the problem is. Are you able to apply? Any question before we proceed? Yes, because we want to discuss about quality control. Quality control is fine. Quality control. Don't forget, I've said the question paper. I'm sure number 3 now. When you are reading it, you're able to identify all those things. Oh, okay, we're going to do it together. Yeah, don't forget to revise as we go. Quality control. So, International Standards in Quality Control, ISQ1. So I'm sure that you've right. Quality control. Quality control. So ISA 220, quality control of any audit in financial statements, is another audit standard that talks about quality control. You must know. ISA 220, quality control of an audit of financial statements. When we're talking about quality control, we're talking about what? ISA 220, quality control of an audit of financial statements. When we talk about quality control, we're talking about again about ISQC, International Standards on Quality Control 1. Quality control for firms that perform audits and reviews of financial statements and other assurance related service arrangements. ISQC1. So, if I say quality control for an audit of financial statements, which means the auditors, they must make sure that for us to provide an expert service, a quality service to a client, we must make sure that we do have some quality controls in place, quality standards in place that we have to follow when we are carrying out our audit assignment. We should set certain standards, quality standards, golden quality standards that we have to follow when we are carrying out our audit assignment, when we are carrying out even our accounting assignment. Are you following what I'm saying? Hello? So quality controls, they provide guidance on the overall quality control systems. They provide guidance on the overall quality control systems that should be implemented by an audit firm. ISQC1. It provides guidance on the overall quality control systems that should be implemented by an audit firm. Then ISA 220. ISA 220, which means the quality control on individual audit, it specifies the quality control procedures, that should be applied by the engagement team in individual audit assignments. So that's why I've mentioned about these two quality control standards, ISQC1 and ISA 220. ISA 220 to focus on quality control on an individual audit. And the provision of this ISA 220, they specifies the quality control procedures that should be applied by the engagement team in individual audit assignments. That's good. So which means you must know the elements of quality control. You must know the what? The elements of quality control. You must know the elements of quality control. What are the elements of quality control? Someone want to try? What are the elements? Quality control. What are the elements of quality control? Hello? Someone want to try? Will sound what? Ethics. So in other words, don't complicate things, guys. In other words, when you are setting up the quality control, which means you must know when, if you want to produce something in expert service, if you want to produce something of quality. In other words, you should there are certain standards that have been prescribed by ISQC that the audit firm should implement. There are certain standards, isn't it, or procedures that have been prescribed by ISA 220 on individual audits that should be followed. That's what I'm asking, and you must be aware of those, standards, so that we may produce something of quality, so that we may provide an expert service to our clients. Don't forget, when I'm saying clients, simply referring to those the company that we are auditing. That we are auditing. Fine. So we are simply referring to the quality control, referring to policy and procedure that should be followed. Then you am right. Audit firm, they should follow the quality control policy and procedures. audit firm, they should follow the quality control policies and procedures that have been prescribed by ISQC 1 and ISA 220, quality control on individual audits. So all those policies, they should be documented and communicated. They should be documented and communicated to the firm's personnel, which means individuals within the firm. Remember, the firm are referring to the audit firm. They should be properly communicated. Policies and procedures, quality control policies and procedures, they should be properly communicated to the firm's personnel, audit firm's personnel. They must be aware of those. Because remember, the leadership, you're not working alone. There are some juniors who are, below us, isn't it? They must be aware of these policies and procedures. They must be properly communicated because you're going to work as a team. So when you're talking about quality controls, the four areas, they cover areas like firm and leadership. What are the responsibilities of the firm and the leadership for quality control within the firm? There are certain policies and procedures on what are the responsibilities of the firm and the leadership. We're going to look on human resources. When talking about human resources, when talking about management of people, how best can we, when it comes to recruitment selection, how best can we have certain individuals with competence, with relevant skills, who are qualified? We should have quality control policies and procedures in place. Again, we're going to look at engagement performance. If we are going to be engaged, we're going to look like the things like customer due diligence that we've discussed earlier on. We should not just rush to accept a client, but what I said, we must first know your client. KYC, know your client first. Customer due diligence. Who is our client? Their business, their sources of income. So again, when it comes to the quality control process, they cover something like monitoring of the work performed by the audit teams. Yes, the work performed by the audit team, it needs to be monitored for us to produce something of quality. Are you following on what I'm saying, guys? Hello? So let us look on one by one. We're saying we must have to set the policy and procedures. When it comes, we must know, we set the quality control policy and procedure when it comes to the firm and the leadership. They must be aware of their responsibility when it comes to quality control. What are the responsibilities of the firm and referring to the firm as a whole and to the leadership when it comes to quality control? Which means the firm is responsible to appoint group of individuals or even individuals who have sufficient and appropriate experience, we have the ability to carry out the job, which means the audit assignment, etc. That's some of the responsibility of the firm and the leadership. Hello guys, are you following on what I'm saying? Yvonne?
Yes.
Nyarai? Yvonne Nyarai?
Yes, I'm following.
You're following, that's good. Yvonne? I'm not sure if she is still there. It's fine. So that's the responsibility of the family leadership. So now let's just look on human resources. Remember what I've said, that the quality control policy process, they cover, they also cover human resources, so that we have excellence in our staff.
Yes, it's
So
clear.
so that we have a personnel with capabilities, sufficient capabilities, competence,
Yes, it's
people.
clear.
It's fine, thank you. So that we
It's
have
clear.
people who commitment to ethical principles. So by having quality controls or policy and procedures relating to human resources, we're trying to have uh, our staff with capabilities, staff with the competence, staff that are committed to ethical principles, staff that can, so that the staff to perform the engagement in accordance with professional standards and legal requirements, so that we can issue the reports that are appropriate in the circumstances. So it emanates from human resources. Do we have sound policy and procedures when it comes to human resources? Recruitment, selection, assignment of duties, that's part of human resources. Succession plans, training of staff, it's part of the human resources. All those kind of things. So we should have sound policy and procedure in place, which covers, you know, training of staff, training developments, recruitment selection policies, sound recruitment selection policies, um, sound remission policies, promotion. We do not just promote, but we have certain things. We have some policies and procedures in comes to promotion, succession plan. Is there in place? Why? Why? So that we have the staff which committed to ethical principles, the staff which perform their engagement in accordance with the professional standards and the legal framework, so that we do have staff which is competent. That's good. Can we proceed?
Yes, we can
Can we
proceed.
can proceed? That's good. That's good. So again, the firm should take steps to ensure that engagements are performed correctly. That is in accordance with what required standards. That is in accordance with ethical standards. So which means for the firm to ensure that engagement are performed correctly, which means the firm is going to again responsibility uh, to produce a manual of standard engagement procedures, to give those manual of standard engagement procedure to all staff, so that they know the standards they are working towards. Yes, the firm is what? That responsibility to produce and give a manual of standard engagement procedures to all staff, so that they know the standards they are working towards. So when you talk about ensuring, why you have to produce and give them, we're trying to ensure good engagement performance, ensuring good what engagement performance, And when I'm talking about a good engagement performance, we are looking into a number of issues like supervision. Supervision. We are looking at review of work done by the audit engagement teams. It needs to be reviewed by a senior personnel. We are looking at consultation in some of the area that we are doubting as auditors. We should have that policy. If you are doubting this area, you have to consult others, even other chartered accounting firms or other specialists in that area, so that we will produce something of quality. We are looking at some like how best can resolve if there's some disputes, best is the resolution of some disputes. And we're talking about even direction. So these are some of the things that must be on the manual of standard engagement procedure. Manual of standard engagement procedures that is given to the staff. They must know all those things. The firm should produce it and give to all staff. Because if you are a junior auditor, you must know what are the standards that you are working towards. You not just work, but you must be aware. You must know what are the standards that you are working towards. If you know it, it ensures you do a good engagement performance. You see. Can we proceed? Again, the firm should establish policies and procedures. Again, the firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide it with a reasonable assurance that appropriate consultation takes place on difficult or contentious matters, like what I've mentioned already, to ensure that sufficient resources are available. When talking about resources, I'm talking about human resources, financial resources, time. It's another responsibility of the firm. So we should have, the firm should establish policies when it comes to sufficient, to have sufficient resources. Of course, we have engaged to create certain audit assignment or non-audit assignment. But the important thing is that, do we have sufficient resources or sufficient resources are available? Even conclusion from result from consultation indicate that we event that we have carried out some consultations. Those conclusions result from consultations. They should be appropriately implemented. They should be followed to ensure that they are implemented. It's a matter of having policies and procedures. Are you following, guys? Hello? Guys, you sure? Say yes, yes, yes. Is it clear? Is it clear? So let us discuss on monitoring. It's another element which is very important when it comes to quality control. The work needs to be monitored. Exactly what are you going to monitoring? Monitoring, which means we should have policies in place to ensure that the quality control procedures that you've said are relevant, are still relevant when talking about monitoring. The quality control procedures, policy and procedures that have been that we have put in place, are they still relevant? We have to monitor that. If I say relevant, are they still serving their purpose? Are they still adequate? Are they adequate? Are they adequate? You should monitor that. You should also monitor that people, are they complied with? All those policies, are they being complied with? You have to monitor that again. Are these policy procedures that we have put in place, are they operating effectively? We should monitor again that. So monitoring is another thing which is very important. For us to produce something of quality, to provide an expert service, we should monitor the policy process that we have put in place to ensure that they are relevant, they are adequate, they are being complied with, they are operating effectively and efficiently. Yes, and after that monitoring, obvious, we should report. Right, let us look on the quality control on an individual audit. Quality control on an individual audit. Quality control on an individual audit. ISA 220. ISA 220. Quality control on an individual audit. That's good. Can someone tell me, if I say an individual audit, what are we saying? Again, you must know the leadership responsibility on individual audits. There should be some policies and procedures. The leadership, what are the leadership responsibilities on individual audits? So if I say individual audits, what are we saying? Hello? Okay, someone say each engagement. Okay. Okay. So we're talking of assignment, isn't it? Whenever you're getting an assignment, what is the uh, that's what we simply say individual audits. They are being engaged when you're carrying out an audit assignment now specifically. So there is some standards at the firm's level and on individual engagements, on individual audits. So you must know the first number one, the leadership responsibilities on individual audits. You must be aware what are the standard policies, responsibilities, isn't it? What are the ethical requirements? So the leadership responsibility on individual audits that they have to ensure that they're responsible for the overall quality on each individual engagement to which that partner is assigned, isn't it? That's a responsibility as an audit engagement partner. Leadership are simply referring to the engagement partner is responsible for the overall quality on each audit engagement, are responsible for the overall quality on each auditing engagement. Because the audit engagement partner will be assigned, probably this you'll be assigned, you'll be given your assignment. You're going to be the audit engagement partner of Telecel. That's if you're auditing Telecel, Zimbabwe, Econet Wireless and stuff. So you're the one who would be responsible for the overall quality on that audit engagement. Am I loud and clear on that? And again, the audit engagement partner you shall remain alert. You shall remain what? Alert throughout the audit to ensure that people, the staff is complying with relevant ethical requirements. Should remain alert throughout the audit engagement to ensure that the audit staff is complying with the relevant ethical requirements. That's good. I'm sure last time we've discussed about fundamental principles, a code of ethics and conduct. All those, that's what I'm referring ethical requirements. And an engagement partner is the one who's responsible for forming a conclusion on compliance with independence requirements. They are the one who's responsible for, again, on compliance with independence requirements. What's your conclusion? You have to express your opinion. Is there any breaches? What are the appropriate actions that should be implemented when you're concluding? So that those threats to independence objectives, they can be reduced or eliminated if possible. That's good. Guys, are we still there? Hello? Yvonne? Nyasha? Hello?
Still here?
Okay, that's good. Please, these are common features in exam, quality controls, whatever this one. Make sure that you're able to apply to comment on quality control in place by applying these notes that we are discussing right now. Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Application is very important. Our main issue is about application of notes. Application. Never ever think of say when you're going to finish the syllabus very soon. We mainly focus. That's where reverses go. Next time when you meet, the first thing I've sent that question to people applying the notes. Look now, here's a scenario. Now, please guys, try to jot down something on site so that when you meet, you may understand, you may get the sense how best can you apply those notes. This question is talking about anti-money laundering. It's talking about professional ethics and conduct. Quality control is a very, 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 very important. It's a very, very important topic, and you must assess. It's frequently examined. It's a common feature in exam. When you are commenting at this level, it's about commenting. It's about assessing. It's about evaluation. Fine. Again, the partner is required to ensure that the requirements of ISQC 1, which means International Standards on Quality Control 1, in respect of accepting and continuing with the audit are followed. Accepting. If I say acceptance, we're talking about accepting of the client or continuing with the client. The partner is no, it's again should monitor that, should make sure that they're being followed, those requirements in respect of accepting an audit client or accepting an audit engagements and continuing with audit engagements. So wow, then if there's any doubt, if there's any conflict, if there's any issues, is the one partner who may decide whether to continue, whether to accept a new client or not, or whether to continue with such engagements. Yes. Again, when you're assigning the engagement teams, make sure that you should ensure that the team is appropriately qualified and experienced as a unit. I remember I've mentioned that this earlier on. You know, just assign the staff, give the assignment, people, staff who are not qualified, who are not have relevant experience, recent relevant experience. No, the assignment of engagement teams, when assigning, the engagement team, we make sure that they are appropriately qualified and experienced. So it's another responsibility of an audit engagement partner to make sure that the staff that is being assigned by the assigned, they do have appropriate experience, and they are qualified to assume those responsibilities. And again, the audit partner is the one who directs the auditing. The audit engagement partner is the one who directs the audit. How best can we direct the audit? By frequently holding some meetings with the audit team members, discussing some issues, areas of high risks. How best can we overcome all those things? Discussing certain things that I know you have to engage in a consultants, all those kind of things. So that's how best an audit engagement partner can direct the audits, by holding regular meetings with the audit team to discuss the audit direction. That's how the partner directs the audit. Hello, guys. Again, the audit partner is the one who's got overall supervision of the audit. But usually that one supervision can be delegated to junior staff. But the audit engagement partner is the one who have got overall supervision of the audit. Overall supervision of the audit. Again, the audit engagement partner is the one who have got an overall review of the work performed.
Dave?
All right. You were enjoying supper.
No, sir. My network had just gone bad.
Fine. It's weak. It's fine. That's cool. So the work performed is need to be reviewed by whom? The one who got the overall responsibility is the audit engagement partner. What are you reviewing? You're simply reviewing that the work has been performed in accordance with the professional standards and the regulatory and the legal requirements. That's what you're going to review. What are you going to review? Is there a need to revise the nature, time, and the extent of the work performed? What are you going to review? The evidence obtained is sufficient and appropriate to support the auditor's report. What are you going to review? Significant matters have been raised for further considerations, etc. So that's what we're going to review. There are some matters that have been raised during the audit that may need a further consideration, and they should not be ignored. So you, as an audit engagement partner, you should review that. Is there any matters significant that have been raised for further considerations? Is there any need to revise the nature, timing, and extent of work performed? It depends on the risks faced during the audit, the risks assessed during the audit, the risks identified during the audit. Am I clear, guys? Again, the partner is the one who is responsible for making sure that appropriate consultation on the matter. The audit staff takes appropriate consultation on the matter raised. And again, like what I've mentioned earlier on, and again, the conclusions from those consultations are properly implemented. Again, it's another responsibility of the audit engagement partner. I'm sure that we've discussed a lot of things. So in exam, make sure that you are able to comment on the quality control. So I'm write exam focus point. We're about to finish. Exam focus point. In exam, you might be asked to comment on the quality control, ethical and professional issues raised by the scenario. In exam, you might be asked to comment on the quality control, ethical and professional issues raised by the scenario. Yes, so make sure that you're able to identify problems. Make sure that you're able to identify problems in the scenario, problems of what? Of quality control issues. So where you make sure that you're able to identify and clearly explain and comment on those problems in the scenario. So the scenario, it simply depicts an audit that had problems, isn't it? The scenario, obvious. It depicts an audit that had problems. Make sure that you're able to identify those problems and clearly comment, explain them, and comment. Did you write? Hello? Hello? You are faint. Faint. So, in conclusion, let me say, ISQ1 does require all firms to document the operation of its system of quality control, which means the system of the quality control should be properly documented. Yes. That's good. That's good. Advanced audit does not have much. I got few. So, guys, last time I've sent which question paper did I send? I want to show you something so that when you are reading, I want to guide you so that when we meet, we do this one, then we proceed with our you have to do, you attempt that question paper together when we meet next time. What next time when we meet, please, you may write down, we're going to discuss about planning and risk assessment. Planning and what? Planning and risk assessment. December 2018. Oh, so let me look on that question paper. I want you to share my screen with you so that December 2018. Thank you. Thank you for that. I want to show you something. Please, you have to read December 2018. December 2018. Okay. Seen it. Where is it? Okay, got it. Guys, what we've discussed is something which is practical. Please make sure that from there to go, let us be serious. Let us be what? Serious. I said question number 3, I remember. It's question number 3. So that's the last question. Right. Guys, are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing it? Are you seeing my screen? Hello?
Yes.
So required A, discuss the policy and procedure which Thomas and Company should have in place in relation to an anti-money laundering program. And that's format. And Roman number 2, evaluate whether there are any indicators of money laundering activities by either Clean Company or its staff. 10 marks, 6 marks, altogether 10 marks. Then B, comment on the ethical and professional issues arising from your review of the audit working papers and recommend an action which should now be taken by Thomas and Company. 50 marks, altogether 25 marks. Some people, they have failed this question paper. And if you're going to ask yourself, I don't know why. Look here, I'm going to read guiding you. Try by all means, please, guys, to jot something down. Try to answer this question. It's not the same, but it's your own something to do. It's your own. I'm not saying you have to submit that week. I'm going to read question December 18. You are an audit manager in Thomas and Company, a firm of chartered certified accountants. You have recently been assigned to the audit of Clean Company for the year ended 30 September 2018. Clean Company is an unlisted company and has been an audit client of your firm for a number of years. Clean Company is a national distributor of cleaning products. The company buys the cleaning products from wholesalers and employs a team of approximately 750 sales staff around the country who sell the company's products to both domestic households and small to medium-sized business. Around 75% of the Clean Company sales transactions are cash-based, and each of the company sales staff prepares a cash sales report on a monthly basis. According to the Clean Company's chief executive, Simon Blakers, and in order to foster an entrepreneurial spirit among his employees, each staff member, including the senior management team, is encouraged to make a cash sales and is paid on a commission basis to sell the company's products to friends and family. So you see, they asked us, is there any indications of money laundering activities? So far, it's a cash-intensive business, isn't it? Did you notify that? Did you not notice it that, hello guys,
Yeah.
where around 75% of clean commerce sales are cash based? You see, now I'm starting recalling those. Okay, you have learned about cash intensive business, how money can be laundered. Again, Simon Blaker, the directors, they're encouraging to make cash sales and is paid on a commission basis to sell the company product to friends and family. Control the business. If you ever had, remember recalling that there's a risk of making fake sales, isn't it? It's about application. So Mr. Blake has lead the way with this scheme and recently sold a cleaning product with a value of $33,000 to a business associate of his. Look now, there's the risk of making what? Fake sales again. Which means all these things, they represent introduction, placement. It's a good example of what? Placement, isn't it? He has transferred these funds directly into an offshore bank account in the company's name on which he is the sole signatory. That's a good example of what? Layering, isn't it? Guys, comment. We are together. That's a good example of layering. Never ever think that they're going to ask him 3 stages of money laundering. Yeah, now I'm applying. He has transferred these funds directly. We have to mention the good example of transfer of funds across the national jurisdiction, isn't it? Or transfer funds using numerous bank accounts. This is a good example of layering. So now, are you able to apply those concepts and comment or evaluate or discuss? Review of audit working papers. Let us go and review on audit working papers. Your review of the audit working papers and an initial meeting with Mr. Blakers have identified the following potential issues. Now we're going to focus on probably, let us look on this one. Following your review of the audit engagement letter, the working papers of the taxation section of the audit file, you have established that Thomason and Company performed the taxation computation for clean company and completed the tax returns for both the company and Mr. Blakers personally. So there's some ethical threat, isn't it? There's some threats to independent and what? And isn't it? Because this one is an audit client, at the same time we have tax computations. The tax computation, that figure is going to be included in the financial statement that we're going to audit. Well, then you have to mention it. This one, is it represent a self-interest threat, self-review threat? What else you may say? Intimidation threat, isn't it? You're going to comment on that, ethical. Professional issues, which means an issue of that you have to engage someone who's got a relevant experience when to taxation, competent that area. So all the taxation have been invoiced to clean company as part of the total fee for the audit and professional services. Mr. Blaker's personal tax return includes a significant number of the payments sold in various international institutions. Mr. President, a significant number of transactions involving the purchase and the sale of properties in various international locations. It's a good example of what? Integration, the last stage of money laundering. Are you able to? Yes, it's a good. Men, no, you have different in whatever form they are held, but are able to apply those notes. That the main issue is no matter you've got sleepless nights, reading the notes, reading like a no problem, but are you able to apply those notes? So the taxation working papers includes a detailed review of a number of offshore bank accounts in Mr. Blaker's name, which identified the property transactions. You see, all those kind of things. Offshore bank accounts, it's an indication of. During your initial meeting with Mr. Blakers, he informed you that the Clean Company is planning to develop a new website in order to offer online sales to its customers. He has asked Thomas and Company to provide assistance with the design. and implementation of the website and online sales system. Are you aware that this one, cleaning companies, the audit client, they're asking us to assist them to design and to implement. But don't forget that, bear in mind that is it a public interest entity or not? Because there's a risk of making or of making wrong no of making inappropriate comments or recommendations. There's a risk of making inappropriate comments or recommendations in that is it or requirement relevant ethical requirements that are relevant purely to public interest entities. Please, 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 when you're answering this question, you're going to repeat it again when we meet next time. Before we start anything, you're going to do this question. I'm sure in the first 30 minutes, in the first 30 visit. So this one online system, a sales online sales system to its customers. This one is going to generate information that is used to prepare the financial statements. So that's why your independence can be threatened. You're going to explain it in detail. As a result of audit review visit the client's premises, we have learned that the audit team was invited to and subsequently attended Clean Campus annual office party. We have discussed about gifts and hospitality. Do you remember?
Yes.
So are you able to recall that? You're unable to? Oh, this one, this is a good example of a gift and hospitality. So the client provided each member of the audit team with a free voucher worth $30, which could be redeemed at the venue during the party. Again, it's a 3 minutes. So are you able to comment properly, given the scenario, practical, common sense, using your common sense? Nowadays, this strategy, nowadays, common sense, it contributes a lot. You follow certain things, but what's your conclusion? That's why they say comment, discuss. The audit senior Paula Metcalf, who has worked on the audit for the last 3 years, has informed you that the audit team has always been encouraged to attend the part in order to develop good client relationships. So please read properly about money laundering, anti-money laundering programs, and then money laundering, those 3 stages. And again, read about ethical issues. Identify these threats. Then read properly from the textbook exactly relevant to the scenario. Please make sure what the textbook saying, so that when you discuss together, you'll be better off rather than being what? Worse off. Anything to say, guys? Look, 25 marks. 25 marks. 25 marks. And I keep on saying, guys, let us be serious from the word go. Let us what? Be serious from the word go. I don't know a scenario whereby people they start to say, I don't know how to answer this question. I don't know. Here we revise as we go. We're going to do this question together, but when you're reading your notes, try to relate to the case here scenario, okay? They've mentioned about online sales to develop a website. So from the text, what they are saying, you understand your notes better than just reading them once there's no question. They're talking about office parts, gifts and hospitality. What does that tell us about? You understand gifts and hospitality better than just reading it. Are you following what I'm saying? They're talking about taxation. Let me go and read it proper, nicely in your textbooks. The tax computation, tax advisory, probably tax returns and stuff. What are they saying? So in this case, they're talking about tax computations. So what are they saying in textbook? So here, which means given here scenario, it's supposed to be that's how our independence can be threatened. So what are the appropriate actions should Now we have be taken by this one, which means that they're talking about safeguards. What are the appropriate safeguards that we may implement in order to reduce these threats to an acceptable level, low level, or to eliminate them if possible? In Shona, we you've won anenzi answer andizvere.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, asked to comment whereby you have or to have been done by the kids really did this. So the financial that material mistake by setting them how to deal with those things, because part of group gaps you must be able to comment the work done by the directors. Are you able to comment? Of certain accounting standards. That's what we're going to look at. Are you following on what I'm saying? Next time, starting next week. After done, then obvious you're going to look at the group audits now, because we've covered a lot of things. So it will be now to start to introduce question number one, to do questions. You may have enjoy your dinner, your supper. Enough nicely. You're going to do it in the first 30 minutes together, proper teaching how to answer this one, how to avoid long sentences, unnecessary things. Cheers, guys. Good night.
Cheers. Thank you.
Welcome.